Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share a truth that will inspire you, strengthen you, and help you walk boldly into your destiny. There's something extraordinary about learning to embrace solitude, not loneliness, but solitude, that sacred space where you connect with yourself, your purpose, and your creator. When you step away from the noise, distractions fade, and your inner voice becomes clearer. We live in a world that is constantly buzzing with activity, surrounded by endless notifications, responsibilities, and opinions from others. It's easy to get swept up in the demands of life, but there is a profound power in intentionally choosing to withdraw from that noise. When you allow yourself to be alone, you create the opportunity to reconnect with the essence of who you are. Solitude isn't just about being physically alone, it's about quieting the chatter that fills your mind. It's about turning off the external voices that try to tell you who you should be, what you should do, or how you should feel. In solitude, you strip away all of those external pressures, and for the first time in a long time, you can hear what your heart is saying. You begin to understand your own desires, your own fears, and your own dreams without interference. The world is full of people who are busy, rushing from one thing to another, never taking the time to pause and reflect. But when you take a moment to step back, when you embrace the stillness, you start to see things differently. Suddenly, situations that seemed overwhelming begin to make sense. Decisions that felt impossible to make become clearer. It's as if the fog lifts and you can finally see the path ahead of you. This clarity isn't something that comes from someone else's advice or a quick fix. It's something that rises from deep within you when you give yourself the space to listen. Solitude is not about isolation or loneliness. It's about intentionally creating a space where you can connect with the truth of who you are. In that quiet place, you realize that many of the answers you've been seeking were inside you all along. The distractions of life have a way of pulling us in every direction, making us feel like we're constantly chasing something just out of reach. But in those moments of solitude, you stop chasing, you stand still, and that's when the answers come. Being alone teaches you to trust yourself. When you're constantly surrounded by noise, it's easy to doubt your own instincts because there's always someone else's voice to consider. But when you're alone, it's just you and your thoughts. You learn to discern what's real and what's not, what matters and what doesn't. You gain confidence in your ability to make decisions not based on what others think is right, but on what you know in your heart is best for you. In the quiet, you also have the opportunity to reflect on your life. You begin to see patterns, to recognize the habits and behaviors that are serving you and the ones that are holding you back. This kind of self-awareness is a gift that can only come from spending time alone. When you're constantly on the go, you don't have the time or the energy to look inward. But in solitude, you can take a step back and gain a new perspective. Solitude gives you the chance to reset. It's like pressing the pause button on the chaos of life. In that pause, you can let go of the stress, the noise, and the distractions and just be. It's a chance to recharge your spirit, to fill yourself up with the peace and clarity that only come from stillness. When you come out of that place of solitude, you're not the same. You're stronger, more focused, and better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life happen when you're alone. It's in those quiet moments that creativity flows, ideas are born, and solutions appear. It's not a coincidence that so many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders valued solitude. They understood that stepping away from the world wasn't a sign of weakness or avoidance. It was a source of strength and inspiration. When you take the time to be alone, you give yourself the gift of clarity. You reconnect with the things that matter most, and you let go of the things that don't. You become more grounded, more centered, and more at peace. This clarity doesn't just benefit you, it benefits everyone around you. When you operate from a place of clarity, you make better decisions, you communicate more effectively, and you show up as the best version of yourself. True power comes when you realize you don't need external validation to feel whole. Many people spend their lives seeking approval from others, family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. They base their worth on how others perceive them, constantly measuring themselves against external standards. But the truth is, relying on others for validation is like building a house on shifting sand. It's unstable, unpredictable, and can leave you feeling empty when that validation is no longer there. Being alone teaches you that your worth isn't determined by others, it comes from within. When you're alone, there's no one to impress, no one to please, and no one to compare yourself to. It's just you. At first, this might feel uncomfortable, even unsettling. But over time, you begin to discover the freedom that comes with it. You start to realize that you don't need someone else's approval to feel good about yourself. You don't need anyone to validate your dreams, your choices, or your journey. You are enough just as you are without the applause or affirmation of others. Solitude gives you the space to reflect on who you are without the influence of other people's opinions. It allows you to see yourself clearly without the distortions created by trying to meet someone else's expectations. In this space, you can ask yourself the important questions. What do I really want? What makes me happy? What am I passionate about? When you're constantly seeking validation, you might not even know the answers to these questions because you're so focused on what others want for you. Being alone teaches you to trust your own instincts and decisions. When you stop looking for others to approve of your choices, you begin to rely on your own judgment. This doesn't mean you won't make mistakes, but it does mean you'll take ownership of your path. And with each step you take, you'll gain confidence in your ability to navigate life on your own terms. You'll start to realize that you don't need someone else to tell you you're doing a good job. You already know it in your heart. External validation can be fleeting and inconsistent. One day you might be praised, and the next you might be criticized. If you rely on this feedback to feel good about yourself, your self-worth will rise and fall like a roller coaster. But when you find your validation within, you become steady and unshakable. Your sense of self isn't dependent on what others think. It's rooted in who you are. This kind of confidence is incredibly powerful. It allows you to walk through life with your head held high, knowing that you are enough. The journey to independence doesn't mean you stop caring about others or value their input less. It simply means you learn to separate their opinions from your identity. You begin to see their feedback as just that feedback, not a measure of your worth. This shift is liberating because it allows you to make choices that align with your values and priorities rather than trying to please everyone around you. Being alone also reveals the strength that comes from standing on your own. There's a unique kind of resilience that develops when you stop relying on others to validate your existence. You begin to see challenges not as reasons to seek comfort or approval from others, but as opportunities to prove to yourself what you're capable of. Each time you face a difficulty and overcome it, you build a deeper sense of self-reliance. This inner strength becomes a wellspring that you can draw from in every area of your life. When you no longer seek validation from others, you give yourself permission to live authentically. You're no longer afraid to be yourself because you're not worried about what others will think. You're free to pursue your passion, speak your truth, and follow your heart. This authenticity not only enriches your life, but also attracts genuine connections with others. People are drawn to those who are confident and secure in themselves, and by being true to who you are, you inspire others to do the same. The power of independence lies in the realization that you are whole and complete on your own. You don't need someone else to complete you or to tell you that you're worthy. You already are. This understanding allows you to approach relationships from a place of abundance rather than lack. Instead of seeking others to fill a void, you connect with them because you genuinely want to, not because you need to. In solitude, you learn to appreciate your own company. You discover that you can enjoy your own thoughts, your own creativity, and your own presence. This self-acceptance is a foundation for true independence. It's not about shutting people out. It's about knowing that you are enough whether they're there or not. This realization empowers you to live a life that is true to you, regardless of what others might say or think. In solitude, you align your heart with a higher purpose, gaining insight that can only come in the quiet moments. Life is full of demands and distractions, pulling us in countless directions and making it easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We rush from one task to another, consumed by schedules, obligations, and the expectations of others. In the midst of this busyness, it's easy to forget that there's a deeper purpose to our existence. Yet, when we take the time to be alone, to step away from the noise, we create the space to reconnect with something greater than ourselves. Solitude provides a sacred pause, a chance to step back and reflect on the bigger picture. It allows you to silence the clamor of the world and tune into the still, small voice within. This voice, often drowned out by the chaos of daily life, is where you find wisdom, guidance, and purpose. It's where you can ask yourself the deeper questions. Why am I here? What impact am I meant to have? What is the legacy I want to leave? These are the questions that can only be answered when you give yourself the gift of quiet. When you're alone, you have the freedom to examine your life with honesty and clarity. You begin to see what aligns with your values and what doesn't. You may realize that certain habits, relationships, or commitments are no longer serving you. Or perhaps you discover passions and dreams that you've pushed aside for too long. In the stillness, you gain the courage to let go of what no longer fits and embrace what truly matters. This alignment with purpose isn't just about identifying what's wrong, it's about recognizing what's right. Solitude helps you reconnect with the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and meaning. It's a time to rediscover your passions, the unique gifts and talents that only you can offer to the world. When you align your life with these gifts, you find a sense of fulfillment that no external achievement or recognition can provide. Solitude is also a space where you can connect with the divine, however you define it. In the quiet moments, you may feel a sense of peace, love, and guidance that transcends the fickle world. It's in this connection that you find strength and clarity, a reminder that you're not navigating life on your own. Whether you see this as prayer, meditation, or simply a deep connection with your inner self, these moments of stillness become a source of comfort and direction. In aligning your heart with a higher purpose, you also find the clarity to prioritize what truly matters. The distractions and pressures of life can make it difficult to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. But in solitude, you gain perspective. You begin to see that many of the things that once consumed your time and energy were never truly significant. This realization allows you to focus on the people, goals, and values that genuinely matter to you. Solitude also strengthens your sense of resilience and determination. When you align your life with your purpose, you have a clear sense of why you're doing what you're doing. This why becomes your anchor in difficult times, giving you the strength to persevere when challenges arise. When the storms of life come, you're not easily swayed because you know what you're working toward and why it's worth it. When you spend time alone, you create the opportunity to listen not just to your own thoughts, but to the guidance of something greater. You may find that the answers you've been searching for don't come through struggle or striving, but through surrender and stillness. In this quiet space, you gain insight that transforms your perspective and empowers your decisions. You see your challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow and align more fully with your purpose. Solitude also allows you to recharge and refocus. Life can be overwhelming, and when you're constantly giving your energy to others or to tasks, it's easy to feel drained. But when you take the time to be alone, you replenish your spirit. You fill yourself up with the peace and clarity that only come from within. This renewed sense of purpose and energy enables you to give more to others and approach your responsibilities with a fresh perspective. As you align your heart with your purpose, you also inspire others. When people see someone living with intention and clarity, they're drawn to that energy. They want to know what drives you, what gives you strength, and what helps you stay grounded. By living in alignment with your purpose, you not only transform your own life, but also encourage others to seek their own path. The best ideas often come when you're alone, free from outside influence. Creativity and innovation flourish in solitude, where the distractions of the world fade away, and your mind is free to explore without limitation. In the quiet moments, you give your thoughts the space to wander, to connect, and to create in ways that are nearly impossible when surrounded by noise and interruptions. When you're alone, your mind operates differently. It's not preoccupied with external input, no conversations, no opinions, no judgments. This mental stillness allows your imagination to take center stage. It's in these moments that you often stumble upon new ideas, fresh solutions, or perspectives you hadn't considered before. Your brain has the freedom to engage in deep thinking, to process information more fully, and to draw connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. This process of discovery is a hallmark of creativity, and it thrives in solitude. The absence of external influences is key to this process. When you're constantly surrounded by others, even well-meaning ones, their thoughts and ideas can shape your thinking. While collaboration has its place, true innovation often comes when you step away from the collective noise and allow your own voice to emerge. Solitude provides a blank canvas for your thoughts to unfold without interference, letting you explore ideas that are uniquely yours. In solitude, you have the time and space to reflect deeply. Creativity isn't always about having a sudden flash of inspiration. Often it's the result of sustained focus and contemplation. When you're alone, you can immerse yourself fully in a problem or idea, allowing your mind to work through it in ways that are impossible when you're rushed or distracted. This kind of deep thinking leads to breakthroughs, the moments when everything clicks and the solution becomes clear. Many of history's greatest thinkers and innovators understood the value of solitude. From inventors to artists, from writers to scientists, they all found inspiration in their alone time. It's no coincidence that some of the most groundbreaking ideas and creations were born in moments of quiet reflection. These individuals knew that stepping away from the world wasn't a retreat. It was an essential part of the creative process. Solitude also provides the emotional space needed for creativity to flourish. When you're constantly surrounded by others, there's often an unspoken pressure to conform, to fit in, or to meet certain expectations. This can stifle creativity, as you might hesitate to pursue ideas that seem unconventional or risky. But when you're alone, that pressure disappears. You're free to think boldly, to dream big, and to explore without fear of judgment. In these moments, you can experiment with ideas that might seem impractical or even impossible. Solitude gives you the freedom to play with possibilities, to follow your curiosity wherever it leads. This kind of creative exploration is often where the most innovative ideas are born. It's not about getting everything right the first time. It's about allowing yourself the space to think differently and to imagine what could be. Another powerful aspect of solitude is its ability to help you tap into your intuition. Creativity isn't just about logic and reason. It's also about listening to that inner voice, the one that whispers ideas and insights that don't always make sense at first. When you're alone, you can tune into this voice more clearly, allowing it to guide your guided process. This intuitive wisdom is often the source of the most profound and original ideas. Solitude also helps you build a deeper connection with your own creative instincts. When you spend time alone, you learn to trust your ideas, to value your perspective, and to believe in your ability to create something meaningful. This confidence is essential for innovation because it gives you the courage to pursue your ideas, even when they're met with skepticism or resistance. The beauty of creativity in solitude is that it's not limited to any specific field or endeavor. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, a scientist, or someone simply looking to solve a problem in your personal life, the power of solitude is universal. It allows you to tap into your unique perspective and to approach challenges with fresh eyes. Solitude also creates the conditions for flow, the state of being fully immersed in an activity where time seems to disappear and your focus is at its peak. When you're alone, free from distractions, you're more likely to enter this state. It's in these moments of flow that your creativity reaches its highest potential and your best ideas emerge effortlessly. In the quiet, your mind can also find clarity. Sometimes creativity is about simplifying, stripping away the unnecessary to uncover the essence of an idea. Solitude helps you do this by giving you the mental space to focus on what truly matters. It's a time to refine, to distill, and to perfect your ideas without the noise of outside opinions clouding your vision. Learning to stand alone teaches you strength that no one can take away. In life, there will be times when you find yourself walking a path that feels lonely, where the support you thought you had isn't there, and the people you relied on are nowhere to be found. These moments, while challenging, are opportunities to discover the depth of your inner strength. They force you to rely on yourself, to dig deep and uncover reserves of resilience that you didn't know you had. When you learn to stand alone, you develop a kind of strength that isn't dependent on anyone else. It's not tied to whether someone agrees with you, supports you, or even believes in you. It's a strength that comes from within, rooted in the understanding that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. This realization is transformative because it shifts your perspective on life's challenges. Instead of fearing adversity, you start to see it as a chance to grow and prove to yourself just how strong you are. Standing alone doesn't mean you don't value relationships or community. It means you don't base your sense of self-worth or security on them. You learn to trust yourself, to believe in your ability to navigate life's twists and turns without needing constant reassurance from others. This self-reliance becomes a foundation that supports you no matter what happens. When relationships change, when circumstances shift, or when the unexpected occurs, you remain steady because your strength isn't tied to external factors. The process of building this kind of strength often begins in solitude. When you're alone, you're forced to face yourself, to confront your fears, doubts, and insecurities. At first, this can be uncomfortable, even intimidating. But over time, you begin to realize that facing these challenges is what makes you stronger. Each time you overcome a fear or push through a moment of doubt, you build more confidence in your ability to handle life on your own. There's a unique kind of empowerment that comes from standing alone. It's the realization that you don't need others to validate your choices or your worth. You can make decisions based on what feels right for you without worrying about whether others will approve. This independence allows you to live authentically, to pursue your dreams and goals without hesitation. It's a freedom that can only come from knowing you are enough on your own. When you stand alone, you also discover the power of perseverance. Life isn't always easy, and there will be moments when you're tempted to give up. But when you've learned to rely on yourself, you develop the grit to keep going. You understand that setbacks and failures are part of the journey, not reasons to stop. Each obstacle you overcome becomes a testament to your strength, a reminder that you are capable of enduring and thriving no matter what. Another benefit of learning to stand alone is the clarity it brings. When you're not constantly seeking input or approval from others, you can hear your own thoughts more clearly. You can make decisions that align with your values and priorities rather than being influenced by what others think you should do. This clarity allows you to stay true to yourself, even when the path you choose is unconventional or unpopular. Standing alone also helps you develop resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when things don't go as planned. When you've learned to stand on your own, you're better equipped to handle these moments. You know that you can adapt, find solutions, and move forward even when the odds seem stacked against you. This resilience becomes a source of confidence, a reminder that you can weather any storm. One of the most powerful aspects of standing alone is the sense of self-respect it fosters. When you face challenges head-on and rely on your own strength to overcome them, You gain a deeper appreciation for yourself. You begin to see yourself as capable, resourceful, and worthy of the life you're building. This self-respect is invaluable because it influences how you approach every aspect of your life, from your relationships to your career to your personal goals. Standing alone doesn't mean you isolate yourself or reject the help of others. It means you don't need that help to feel whole or secure. You're able to receive support and encouragement when it's offered, but you're not dependent on it. This independence allows you to engage in relationships from a place of strength rather than neediness. You can give freely to others without losing yourself in the process, and you can walk away from situations that don't serve you without feeling lost or uncertain. The strength you gain from standing alone is something no one can take away from you. It's not tied to your circumstances, your relationships, or your achievements. It's an internal strength built through experience and resilience that becomes a permanent part of who you are. It allows you to face life with confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the power to overcome it. In solitude, you find the courage to embrace your true self, discovering the power and peace that comes from authenticity. In a world where expectations and comparisons run rampant, it can be incredibly challenging to stay true to who you are. Society constantly pushes us to conform, to fit into molds that may not reflect our unique identity. But when you allow yourself the space to be alone, to step away from the noise and the pressure, you create an environment where your true self can emerge. Being alone gives you the chance to strip away the layers of external influence. It's a time to pause and reflect, to ask yourself what you really believe, what you truly want, and who you genuinely are. So often we get caught up in trying to be what others expect of us, whether it's meeting the expectations of family, impressing colleagues, or conforming to societal norms. In the quiet moments, though, you can let go of those expectations and connect with the person you are beneath all the masks. This process of self-discovery isn't always easy. It can be uncomfortable to face your insecurities, fears, and fears. But it is in these moments of vulnerability that you begin to understand your own strength. You start to see that your worth isn't tied to what you achieve, how you look, or what others think of you. It comes from within. You are valuable simply because you exist, and no amount of external validation or criticism can change that truth. Solitude also helps you embrace your individuality. In the quiet, you can explore your passions, interests, and values without the influence of others. You might discover talents you didn't know you had, or reignite dreams you had long forgotten. This kind of self-exploration is essential because it allows you to live a life that is uniquely yours. It's not about following someone else's path or chasing someone else's definition of success. It's about discovering what makes you come alive and having the courage to pursue it. When you embrace your true self, you also cultivate a sense of inner peace. You no longer feel the need to compare yourself to others or to seek approval from outside sources. You can celebrate your strengths and accept your imperfections, knowing that they are all part of what makes you unique. This self-acceptance creates a foundation of confidence and contentment that no one can take away from you. Being authentic also transforms your relationships. When you show up as your true self, you attract people who resonate with who you really are. These connections are deeper, more genuine, and more fulfilling because they are based on honesty and mutual respect. You no longer feel the need to pretend or to wear a mask to fit in. Instead, you can be yourself and trust that the right people will love and accept you for who you are. In solitude, you also gain the courage to set boundaries and prioritize your well-being. When you know who you are and what you stand for, it becomes easier to say no to things that don't align with your values. You stop overcommitting or trying to please everyone, and you start focusing on what truly matters to you. This kind of clarity and self-respect not only benefits you, but also empowers others to do the same. One of the most beautiful aspects of embracing your true self is the freedom it brings. When you stop worrying about what others think or trying to meet their expectations, you are free to live authentically. You can pursue your dreams, speak your truth, and express yourself in ways that feel natural and joyful. This freedom is incredibly empowering because it allows you to live a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling, not one dictated by external pressures. Solitude is not about isolation, it's about connection. It's about connecting with your inner self, with your values, and with the deeper truths that guide your life. It's about recognizing that you don't have to be perfect to be worthy, that your flaws and struggles are part of your journey, and that there is immense beauty in being authentically you. When you find the courage to embrace your true self, you not only transform your own life, but also inspire others to do the same. Your authenticity becomes a beacon of light, showing others that it's okay to be themselves, to honor their individuality, and to pursue their unique path. In this way, your decision to live authentically has a ripple effect, creating a world where people feel empowered to be who they truly are. So, take the time to be alone, to reflect, and to connect with your true self. Embrace your uniqueness, honor your journey, and trust that you have everything you need within you to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. In solitude, you find not only the courage to be yourself, but also the strength to thrive in a way that is authentic, meaningful, and deeply empowering.